All right. So I guess I'm good now. But yeah, um, I've adapted that to my philosophy, not to take any kind of medications and not even have any sort of surgery unless it's really, really necessary. And you know, um, so now the chiropractor was telling me, listen, Latif, you need to go ahead and take that med because those meds are not going to help you, with us. Just take it and see what happens, along with exercise, along with the proper diet. Cool. So I did that. But my wife and I, getting back to that, my wife, said, listen, let's just cultivate a meal plan for us so that way we can not only eat right, we can feel right. So you can not be tired, or you can um, just be more energized, which is the same thing as not being tired, I guess, kind of, sort of. But so she's meal prepping, right? And she's been meal prepping for the past, I don't know, like all day. She's been meal prepping all day. And everybody's out the house except for me and our son. And so she's been cooking these wonderful, wonderful meals. She has the house smelling really, really. I'm hungry, right? So, but the meals that she's cooking, the meals that she's preparing, are healthy meals. And I'll give you an example. It's not really an example, but last week I had salad. Not that you all care, but I had salad like all last week, and I love salad. But this time it was a healthier salad. So I put all of the romaine lettuce, the carrots, the onions, all the good stuff. And then there's a shake that I had took, right? So I took the shake, and she made these smoothies. It's not even a shake. I'm sorry. It's smoothies, healthy smoothies, a whole bunch of things in here, like really healthy stuff. So I tried it for a whole week, and I'm thinking to myself, look, this is not going to work. My BP is going to be the same as it always was, right? Every once in a while, let me digress a little bit. Sometimes in the past, my BP was normal, but other times it spikes, and it just depends on what I have going on. Not really stressed, I guess I can say I deal with the normal stress like everybody else. Nothing real crazy, but nevertheless, there's stress. So I ate the food for about a week, had salad, had the smoothie, and I kid you not, I hadn't been hungry like all day, right? So I would take the smoothie early in the morning, and I'll eat the salad probably around the same time, like so together. But the whole entire day, I'm only drinking water and maybe have some tea and have a cup of coffee. But I'm good, right? So during this process, I was checking my BP like a madman. I'm checking my blood pressure. I'm watching it, watching it, watching it. So, not to tell you all my biz like that, but it's been at like 130, like over 90, 98. It peaks at like 98. So it's 130 over like 98, 132, 133. Ideal weight, I think, is like BP is like 120 over 70, 120 over 80, something like that. But I'm getting there. So that's one of my goals for 2025 is to reduce, or have a normal blood pressure for at least 6 months, so I can go back to my doctor and be like, listen, hey, look, I've been tracking my BP for the past 6 months, and so I want you all to like take me off these meds, right? And let's be real. I don't care where you are in life. I don't care if you're on a 1 meal a day plan. I don't care if you eat 3 meals a day or whatever. Certain things are hereditary, right? It just happens to be that way, but you can control it. You have a way, the mind, your mind, my mind, our mind, we have a way to control what we eat, right? That's us. Some of you might disagree with that when I say that we are God's children of the Most High, but we are. And God wants us to be better. He wants us to live better. He wants us to eat better, right? And again, I don't even know why I'm going here, but this is not what I wanted to talk to you guys about. But I think it's important because us in the Black community, we just eat whatever. We eat whatever comes. We go to the store and we just pick up whatever. I remember when I was younger, you know, my mom and my stepdad, they didn't have a lot of money. So they would just get the stuff. You remember I don't know if you guys remember the big blocks of cheese, the government cheese that they used to have, right? My mom, they used to get that, but that was a different time. But anyway, we would just get what we needed to make it. You know, now technology has come in and did some stuff to the food, and every time you turn around, there's some E. coli, there's salmonella, there's always something wrong with our food. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to grow our own food. For those of you who don't know about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you need to go do your research on this powerful man, right? Um, but he gave us some books, How to Eat to Live, book 1 and book 2. It gives us an outline on how to eat and how to eat right. But at the same time, all of us don't adhere to it, right? Some of us deviate from it. So there's consequences for that, right? But luckily for me, I have a wife who, you know, she knows how to cultivate and cook really, really well and cook healthy. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the path that I'm going on this healthy journey. You know, I'm not a spring chicken, you know, so, you know, I need to start. I want to live a long time, as long as I possibly can, but not only live a long time, I want to live a long time to be healthy, right? I want to live a long time to be healthy. I want to be able to move. Oops, my body. I want to be able to move and just be vibrant and walk and exercise and things like that. So that's what I want to do. Anyway, that's what that's about, right? So that's one of my goals for 2025 is to eat better and just be more healthy, right? Another one of my goals is to educate myself. Now, I'm not here to give you all of my business, but you know, when you don't open up a book or you don't do anything for self-development, you just hear, right? So self-development, self-evaluation, self-reflection is something that I've always been a part of. I'm always reading something. I'm always into some kind of books and trying to seek knowledge, right, from wherever I can get it from. And so that's one of the things I'm doing this year. Self-development, right, is something that we all should try to do on some level, whether it's reading a little book or a novel. It's something that we should do because, you know, we don't want our brains to become, we have to exercise our brain, right? There's a brother by the name of Brother Nuri Muhammad, and he has a book called The Mathematics of the Mind. He talks about exercising our brain. That's one of the things that we should be doing. And on the next episode, I'll show the book, but it's a powerful book. Brother's name is Brother Nuri Muhammad. Get the book, dissect the book, utilize some of the principles within the book. It'll change your life. So that's some of the things. That's one of the other thing I want to do is learn a new skill, right? Learn, you know, just engulf myself in education. So that's number 2. The third thing that I want to do is just build off a wonderful, wonderful business, right? And so that's part of what I want to talk to you guys about today. So I thank God, I thank Allah for allowing me to be here today to talk to you about a little bit of what I have to offer. Now, some of you, I'm live right now on Facebook, and some of you won't have the opportunity to see the videos that I am going to present today or this evening. So on the next occasion, you know, by God's grace and by God's permission, hopefully, you know, we'll do something where you all, whoever's watching and listening or whatever, can view the videos that I'm about to put out. Nothing real crazy. It's just, you know, letting you know some information. So that's it. So I have a whole bunch of goals, have a whole bunch of aspirations or whatever. So hopefully, inshallah, if it be the will of Allah, I'm going to accomplish those things by the end of 2025. Cool. We there? We there. All right. I just want to keep it real with you today. You know what I mean? This is not a scripted. It's kind of scripted a little bit because I have some things that I want to say to you guys, but I also just want to keep it funky, right? Just want to keep it 100, keep it transparent, and just, you know, I'm not here, right? I want to be, we're the same, right? So I'm gonna get into it. So a couple of weeks ago, I did this podcast that was called shielded voices. And so we're talking about different things, like how, Black men can receive um, accessible legal and identity protection, so through Legal Shield. And as you can see on my background, and those of you on Facebook, you can't see it, but I'll put the video out in a few days or if you go back to some of my Facebook, my podcast on Facebook, you can see my logo, ID Shield, and prepaid legal services, right? Which I've been a part of for, I think about as a business associate for like 2 years. I've been a member since 2016. And so one of the things that, I wanted to say in this particular podcast, which I had the opportunity to say it last week, or 2 weeks ago, but it didn't work out right because the lights went out. So my ring lights, they went out. It was crazy. So I had to use the regular light. And I was kind of like, I don't even want to finish the podcast because my settings are not right. I was kind of being not a diva, but I just wanted my stuff to be, correct. Right. So anyway, that's what happened. So I want to redo this one and give you guys some information. And also for the guys, when you see the video, just think back to what I was talking about, how I wanted to present you all with some information outside of what I'm talking about to let you know that you need protection, and especially our people. And for those of you who are not, who are not of the culture, if you will, who are not Black, don't take this the wrong way. And yes, I said the word Black because this is my podcast. I can say what I want to say. If it gets deleted, it gets deleted, but I don't think so. But there's certain people who, serve. Well, they're not protected correctly, right? There's so much injustice going on within the Black community, and some of our people do not know how to receive or obtain legal help, right? They always go to the legal aid, or they got to pay. And if they're getting a legitimate attorney, they got to pay thousands of dollars just to get their case to be seen, right? And some of our people don't have that money. Let's be honest. A lot of us work paycheck to paycheck. We got to pay light bills. We got to pay, car notes, house notes. We have children, and that dollar just doesn't stretch like that. So, that's kind of what my job is, and what I want to talk to you about today, kind of, So, listen, I just want to say this: legal protection is essential, right? And so, imagine this: your work, and you're giving it your all every day, and you feel like you are, uncomfortable. There's uncomfortable comments being made. You're being overlooked for opportunities, or maybe, you're out with the family when something unexpected happens that requires knowing your legal rights, right? These situations, are a reality for many of us, right? So we can go to, um, Wawa, for instance, and we can go, you get the look, especially if you're Black. And I'm not even trying to be funny. It happens. You can go into Wawa, something like that, or you can go into Publix and you get the stares. That's a form of, discrimination, kind of, sort of, because people, I remember back in the day, and I'm not rambling, I'm making a point. I remember when I was younger, and I remember going back home, we used to have this store called Macy's, and Macy's was downtown Brooklyn, right? And at that time, for those of you who are in my age bracket, back in New York, there was Rudy Giuliani, right? He was the mayor, right? And he had things on lock, right? He had, I forget what it's called, but he can stop any person in the streets. It was a frisk thing. He could stop you in the street and pat you down, right? So I'm in Macy's one day, and I go into the store, and I see these customer service people watching me throughout the whole store. So I'm walking around now. Even at that age, I was a working man, working young man. So I would go into the store and, just look around and see what I wanted to get, buy whatever. It was Friday, I was going out hanging out with my friends or whatever. So I wanted to go into Macy's and get me some gear. So I saw this lady. She was watching me, and it was kind of crazy because she's looking over the clothing, trying to see where I'm at. And I saw her. So she comes up to me. She's like, "Can I help you with something?" I was like, "No, I'm good. Like I'm good. I don't need any help. I know what I'm looking for. I wanted some Guess jeans. I think there was a Tommy Hilfiger shirt that I wanted to buy. So I was like, yo, sorry, I'm keeping it real right now, right? So my dialect is not proper, right? So I'm keeping it real. Uh, so Tommy, um, some jeans, and I wanted, some just regular stuff to wear. And I was like, no, I don't need your help. And she kind of gave me this look up and down like I didn't belong at the store. At that time, I wish I had Legal Shield because, I would have talked to my attorney and said, listen, I don't feel comfortable. Is this something that I could do? Something that I can say? Can you tell me my rights? I didn't know anything about Legal Shield at the time. It was available. I just didn't know about it. So, that's an uncomfortable situation, right, for some people. Or, listen, again, this is really for us because other people have privileges. You don't have these particular privileges, right? So, you know, there was another situation for me personally back in the day. I'm driving home from work. This is like maybe 12 o'clock at night, 12:30 ish, somewhere around in there, and I get pulled over by the police. Right? Police pull me over, ask me for my ID. Now I was legit, driver's license, registration, proof of insurance, that sort of thing. So I presented all of that to the police officer. He happened to be a state trooper in the area that I was living in. So he held me there for a good hour for no reason, right? And I'm like, okay, I need to go home. So I'm calling my people at the house. I'm like, listen, I'm stuck. Yeah, we had cell phones at the time, but mine was a flip phone. So I'm flipping and I'm talking. But I'm like, I'm stuck. The police officer got me, here for a minute and trying to find out, asking me questions. Now, if I had a lawyer at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, I would have called him or her and said, listen, this is what's going on. Can you talk to this police officer? He or she would have done that. That's what Legal Shield does. So it could be 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's 24-hour access to a legal attorney. I bet you a lot of us can't even do that. A lot of us right now today, if we were to leave out the house, it's almost 7:30, right? We can go out the house right now, get pulled over by the police, and they can arrest you, and you don't have anything to say. Now, if you got a couple of grand in your pocket, that's going to an attorney, right? But listen, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, right? Lawyers are there for you, right? So that's just a couple of examples. So, these situations are a reality for many of us. And really not just for Black people, but it happens to us a lot, right? So Legal Shield was created to provide affordable legal services, to everyone, not just Black people, not just white people, everybody. There was a guy that was referred to me. He got pulled over because he didn't have his license. He was drinking, and he was doing donuts on in a car or something like that. So he got pulled over, and so he called me and he said, "Listen, I need your service." I said, "Listen, here we go. This is the information." I signed him up. And I'm just being totally honest with you. I signed him up. And I think I told this story a couple of weeks ago, but nevertheless, I signed him up. And then he called me and he was like, listen, the lawyer is really expensive. I said, what do you mean? He said, they're going to charge me, I think he said between $1,300 and $1,500 to be represented. I said, yeah, look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be a lawyer. I don't have that behind my name. But I said, if you go outside of the Legal Shield membership, right? Just imagine how much those lawyers are going to charge you, right? We're talking $1,300 to $1,500 right? Without Legal Shield protection or the 25% discount that you get with Legal Shield, if it's outside of the membership, you get a 25% member discount. Those lawyers who are not in our network, they're going to charge you maybe $2-3 grand, right? And not only that, they're going to want their money straight up. They're not going to do any kind of, like payment plans or not a legit one. I mean, Morgan and Morgan, that's, not to, I don't know anything about their policy, but I'm sure they don't do that, right? But those legit attorneys that do criminal law and traffic law, things like that, and it's a serious crime, they want their money straight up. So you got to drop it. So with Legal Shield, which is the service that I'm a part of, you get a 25% member discount. So he had to pay $1,500, $1,300, whatever. But if it's a regular case, like you just get pulled over for a traffic stop, it's within our membership, right? So that's covered. These are situations that are not covered, right? So unusual circumstances for this guy. Nevertheless, he was represented by a Legal Shield attorney. So now I'm going to go to another area of law, right? Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I know what happens. Imagine you or somebody else were applying for a position or wanted a promotion. And so, you get passed over, for the promotion. And not only that, maybe they didn't like you because, and let's just be honest, there's a lot of reasons why employees don't want to promote people within the company. It could be because of color, and it could be because of looks. It could be because, what is it called? Quid quo pro, that sort of thing. For those of you who don't know what quid quo pro is, it's when, your supervisor, your boss, whatever, allows you to be promoted, but you got to do something in return for them, right? 2025, 2024, people are not really going for that. So, you don't get promoted. Now, it's workplace discrimination, right? And, for those of you who are not on StreamYard, you'll see the video. You'll see the video on Facebook because I'm going to post it in a few days. But just remember that, workplace discrimination is real and it can happen, but you have rights. You have rights to fight your case. You understand? So there was a lady actually who, her name was Tasha, and she was working hard at a job, and she got passed over for a promotion. And the people at a job, supervisors was making fun of her behind her back, of course. And she tried to deal with it. She tried to do things on her own, try to avoid the situation. But for her, things got a little bit worse. And she reached out on Legal Shield. And so, with Legal Shield, she connected with an attorney, and they guided her through the rights that she had and helped her address the situation professionally, right? Nowadays people are going around shooting other people just because, but she dealt with it in a professional manner, and she no longer felt by herself, right? Her company had to recognize her rights, and it shows the power that you have when you have a legal service at your side, right? And she didn't have to pay thousands of dollars or anything like that. She didn't. She just went to her law provider and was like, "Listen, this is what's going on," and they represented her. I want to shift over to another aspect of what we do. So this is really for our seniors, right? Our older generation. Sometimes, there's a lot of snakes out there, and so these snakes want to take advantage of our senior people, our people who've been, working for years. They shed blood, sweat, and tears to have a lifetime of money that they saved up, and then all of a sudden somebody comes and calls and want to scam them out of whatever kind of money that they have, right? Those are the people that should be protected. Now, if you have a grandmother or grandfather or a grand uncle or anybody who's considered a grandma, a mature person, they should be protected. Not only through legal protection, but through identity protection as well. So it covers everything, right? So when I say covers everything, if your grandma, your grandpa, or the older population, they're on social media, right? And they are, you know, people are getting or asking for the ID, or they make a phone call or anything like that, they're going to be protected. For more details on that, they need to really contact a legal shield representative, which I am one, so I can give you more details right now. This is just an overview of, my podcast, right? So, but not only that, if you're going to the airport or if you're going to Starbucks, a lot of us frequent Starbucks, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, and our identity is being left on the table, right? So we leave our credit cards, we hand over our credit cards, and we hand over our phones. We even do, we pay with our phones now. People are criminals are very, very smart and ingenious. They can compromise your account just like that, and you wouldn't even know it. But with this protection, identity protection, it's 99.9% foolproof. But for that 1% that's not foolproof, that you might get compromised with the identity. There's a $1 million protection on your identity. So they're going to fight to make sure that they don't pay the $1 million to you, but they're going to do everything. They're going to fight to get your identity back to where it needs to be. So, just know that this is not a fly by night business. Identity protection, prepaid legal services, Legal Shield has been around since 1972, right? So it's a legit business. They protected like millions of people, not just in the United States, but in Canada as well. And I can get into the history of how it started, but I don't want to, inundate you with all of that information. But, just know that it's available to you and it's affordable. Like I said earlier, we pay our car note, which is some of us, anything over $200 is too much, but we got to pay it. If we don't pay it, we don't go to work because we can't drive, right? And if you live in Florida, we know you need to have a vehicle in order to get to where you need to go, right? So you got to pay your car note, you got to pay your house notes, rent, whatever, $1,300, $1,500 a month, right? You got to pay your water bill. You got to pay, if you got life insurance, you got to pay life insurance. Car insurance, you got to pay car insurance. You got children, you got to pay their bills too. So why not have a service that can help you in all of those areas, right? You have a document that you need to be signed, looked at. Legal Shield is going to do it for you. They're going to look at those documents and say, okay, listen, this is maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but the lawyer is going to give you the best advisement, right? You go to get your car repaired because it's an older car or even a newer car. There's plenty of news reports today. They're talking about how people are being scammed. They leave their cars in the car lot and they're getting worked on or whatever. Some cars are getting stolen. Some mechanics are trying to jack up the prices of their service, and they'll give you the invoice saying that, you come in asking for this amount, getting this work done on your vehicle, and they say, okay, cool, for this is what you're going to get paid. This is what you're going to pay me for these services. But then by the time you come back and get your vehicle, you're paying arm and a leg. You're like, I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted my windshield wiper repaired or fixed or replaced. So you have a law firm that will look at those documents for you and say, listen, there's some discrepancies in this document. I don't think you should do it. So there's many areas of law. Every area of law is covered by your legal protection. If you have your own business, right? They're going to look out, make sure that your LLC is fine. If you want to be incorporated, they're going to make sure that's fine for you. All of those little intricacies to make sure that you're protected, right? So you could be a home, you could be a work from home parent. You can have your small business where you're working from home, or you can be, a brick and mortar business. We cover those legal aspects for you. So, I don't know, how you all feel about it, but I tell you this. For us, when I say us, I'm talking about the brothers and sisters who work in the Black community who own their own business. Sometimes there's a disservice when it comes down to different things. And again, you know, I guess I'll say this. Um, I'll say this. Um, Protection for the next generation are young Black men and women and legal literacy. We have to be knowledgeable on some of the things that's going on in our community legal wise, because if we don't, you know, the legal system, well, you'll be taken advantage of. Just to put it mildly, you will be taken advantage of. And so, how do you know about that? Our younger generation, some of them don't even care about um, legal protection. They live by the edge of their seats, right? But it's up to us to give them some sort of, cushion just in case they run into some trouble. Like, for instance, what if your son or your daughter is going away to college, you know, and they have to live, in a dorm, and or they something happens where they're being treated unfairly, and it's in another state. You can't do anything about that because you are in your state and they are in their state. But guess what? Through the legal plan just doesn't cover the state that you're in. The legal plan covers your child who lives in a whole nother state. So they need to know that, right? So there's many different scenarios that this plan can help your child, right? They get a ticket in California or Nebraska or Nevada. This plan covers way out west. You have that opportunity. So really, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the ball is in your court. There's an opportunity for you to protect yourself, protect your family by way of being a part of the Legal Shield family, right? And not only that, with this particular coverage, you have what's called a will that can be completed for you and a power of attorney as well. So these things to be implemented for free, right? You have different tiers of service, but the will, you renew that every year. You need those, right? You need a will because tomorrow's not promised. Even though we're exercising, even though we're very precautious about what we do, tomorrow's definitely not promised. And so you want to have something in place for you and your family, so that way, if something were to happen, or your family knows where things belong. It's not a matter of if, it's when it happens, because it's going to happen. None of us can escape that day or time. So, I'll say this. Um, if you are interested, like I said, the ball is in your court. There's no pressure from me. For those of you who are my Facebook friends, you know how to reach me. You can inbox me and say, hey, listen, tell me a little bit more about the service. My job is not just to say, here, the service is good. If you're interested in the service, in the Legal Shield protection, and the identity protection, give me a call, give me a text, inbox me and say, listen, I want to know more. I will do a full interview and you can interview me about the business. And speaking of business, this is not just it's a service. Yes, it is, but it's also a business as well. For those of you who are, looking for a not a brick and mortar, but a business that you can work at your own pace, this is ideal. You're helping people. You're telling people about a service. You're saying, listen, if you get into any kind of trouble, here's some legal protection that you can have. And not only that, I talked earlier about, business development, right? For those of you who don't know anything about business, we have a ton of business classes that you can take for free, right? You can go to the top business schools in the country, and I kid you not, they're not going to teach you what we can teach you. We have meetings practically every day, Monday through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you don't catch it on a Monday, you can catch it on a Friday. If you can't catch it on a Tuesday, you can catch it on a Thursday. Some of it is recorded. We have a ton of information for you to help you be successful. So I'm not going to get into how many ways you get paid, and I'm not going to get into that because that's not this kind of podcast. This is a informational kind of podcast. Now, I can do a presentation. I can come to your house. I can come to your Starbucks. I can come to your Chick-fil-A and do a presentation for you. I'm available, right? But this podcast right here is informational. So listen, if you need the service, it's really, really cheap. It's almost like $1. It's like $1 a day, right? Multiply that by 30 days and you got your amount that you're going to be paying for a month, right? Same with identity protection, right? You get the combination of both of those, you're fully protected. It's like God's ark of protection on your house. And it just doesn't cover you. It covers you. It covers your spouse. It covers the people in your household. Now, there are certain exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, it covers everybody in your house, right? Up until the age of 25. So who would not want that kind of protection? And your law firm is local. Your law firm is like, if you're living in Florida, we have a law firm in Orlando, right? And if that's too far for you to go and travel to see them, they have satellite offices throughout the state. So, there's really no excuse. Only excuse is you just don't want to do it. And so, it's totally up to you on how you want to proceed. But all right, so I'm back now. So I'm going to play this video. And the first video is going to talk about workplace discrimination, right? It's a short video. I think I want to say it's about 2 minutes. But it's going to give you your rights on what you can do in order to not feel like you don't have a right to do that. Okay. So just give me a second. I'm going to play this video for you and then I'll be right back.
Review will help you identify workplace discrimination and be aware of your employment rights. Spotting discrimination and knowing your rights can help protect you and your coworkers from a hostile work environment. After all, if you don't know your rights, it's like no and protects you from all decisions relating to your employment. There are 4 types of discrimination in the work you should be aware of: direct discrimination, indirect discrimination, harassment, and victimization. And there are telltale signs to help you recognize discrimination. Were you asked inappropriate interview questions? Have you or felt humiliated at work, noticed at work or anywhere else? Now, the law cannot stop a hostile workplace from being created, but it does protect victims of discrimination. If you are being discriminated, you find a law. We can help. With our act and day or to them. Your employer has a lawyer, so why shouldn't you? Take 5 minutes to sign up and join the millions we already empower across North America.
So hopefully you guys were able to hear that information, right? But it basically talked about workplace discrimination and your rights, what you can do in that regard. And if you were paying attention or listening early in my podcast, I was giving some information about examples of how, that could be a hindrance on someone wanting to stay with a company um, to advance because they've been faced with some sort of discrimination, right? There's another video I want to show you really quickly, and this is just an overview of, our legal protection services and identity protection services. It's really important that we understand our rights, and it's really important that we understand that our identity can be compromised at some point in time. We just have to know what to do and how to do it. So I'm going to present to you another video. I think it's about 2 minutes long or what have you, but it's just going to outline the basics of both of those particular services. And, as it ends, I'll give you my information if you want to know more about it. Call me, text me, email me at 381. I can't email me, but call me at 386-265-7230. You can text me, you can call me, and we can get into more details about, how you could be involved in the Legal Shield membership. With the membership, there is a will associated with that, a living will, where you want to get your information on paper, so that way, in your untimely demise, your family will know what belongs to who and what your wishes will be once you expire. Because well, you probably didn't hear it, but it's going to happen. We're not exempt from that. But yeah, so you want to get that taken care of. So just text me, call me 386-265-7230. I'll be more than happy to take you through the process on how to get that started. On a business level, if you're thinking about starting your own business, this is definitely a good business to start. It's been around since 1972. And so it's a 53-year-old company. So we're not going anywhere. The company's not going anywhere. So just know that it's a sustainable business, right? But I'm going to get into the next video. So it's like I said, it's about 2 minutes long, and it's going to talk about both aspects of Legal Shield. Okay, so hold on one second.
Eyes on how to request reason for termination. Prove there were no performance-related reasons for timing of dismissal. If your dispute goes to court or a special hearing, your membership provides a legal defense at a 25% discount on your lawyer's rate. Hiring a lawyer we experienced lawyers and the justice system. Your employer has a lawyer, so why shouldn't you? Take 5 minutes to sign up and join the millions we already empower across North America.
So that wasn't really the video that I want you to see. So I think this is the one, this is the one right here. But that was a good video too. So we're going to play that one now. It's funny. There we go. Okay, cool.
There. You access to advice and counsel from an experienced provider law firm in your state. We provide access to a network of dedicated providers, $1 a day, protecting and empowering you with the provider law firm in the palm of your hands. With the Legal Shield mobile app, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, simply tell us the problem. 2, upload photos or documents. And 3, schedule a convenient time to talk. Your provider law firm can provide personal legal advice on contracts, consumer matters, wills and estates. Married? Find it 24/7 access to lawyers in case of a covered emergency. Protect your rights with proactive solutions by accessing a provider by the hour. Pay a small monthly fee and get access to a provider law firm without a huge bill. Be legal ready for things life throws your way with Legal Shield. Legal protection defends many areas of life, but what about your identity and personal information? How can you help keep these protected as well? Let us introduce you to ID Shield. ID Shield helps protect your identity from every angle by watching your credit reports, scanning the dark web, and alerting you of changes or potential misuse of your personal data. You'll get real-time notifications when your name, date of birth, social security, or social insurance number quickly from your ID Shield member portal. Get hands-on protection on the go, monitoring your social media accounts. Stay informed when sex offenders move into your area and track your credit score, all with ID Shield privacy protection. With our partners at Trend Micro, we provide complete multi-device protection against ransomware, viruses, dangerous websites, and identity thieves, including mobile security for Android and iOS. With VPN Proxy One, we offer protection anywhere you connect, including hotels, cafes, offices, and schools to help block malicious acts. With our licensed private investigators looking out for your personal info, you won't have to rely on do-it-yourself solutions. We guarantee to not give up until your issue is resolved and your identity is restored to its pre-theft status. We also offer credit counseling and education to help you understand your valuable credit rating and actions that are likely, and submit their findings to your credit report. A bad credit score could lead to higher payments for products, loans, insurance, debts, and mortgage applications. With this full-service credit approach, education and counseling are available exclusively to those with both the Legal Shield and ID Shield membership. We help protect you and your privacy with coverage up to 1 million in today's digital world with ID Shield. Smart protection for all the ways you connect. Knowing you have access to a provider law firm and privacy protection in your corner can be empowering. Take control of your access to legal rights and privacy with Legal Shield and ID Shield.
So I'm gonna end it. I hope you guys was able to hear all of what she was talking about. But in the future, probably in another couple of days, I'm going to do it. Maybe even tomorrow, I might do a podcast strictly dedicated to will presentation. So be on the lookout for that. Nevertheless, thank you for being a part of this podcast. It was one of my longer podcasts. It's almost an hour, but I wanted to bring some information that was worthy and worth listening to. So with that being said, I am going to close out. Like I said in the beginning, I hope and pray that God continues to bless you with prosperity, longevity, success and whatever your desires are. I hope He grants those to you this year. I'm thankful for the fact that whoever listens and whoever comments, they see some inspiration to this particular podcast. So thank you again. God continue to bless you, and God bless.